Huddle with paperplusoffice.co.nz. Your local office supplies specialist, now open for business.
On the Huddle this evening, Josie Pagani is with me. Hello, Josie.
Hi, Larry.
And we have Cameron Slater from whaleoil.co.nz. Hello, Cam.
G'day, Larry.
Cameron, to you first tonight. The Maori Party are not saying whether or not they will continue to support the government after the Prime Minister said the tribunal recommendations were not binding and that nobody owns the water. What do you see in this? The Maori Party walking? Personally, I don't think so, but what do you see?
Oh, look, I think they'll huff and puff, and at the end the house won't get blown down and the big bad wolf will hop back in the Crown BMWs.
Yes.
So you accept that John Key's a big bad wolf? That's an interesting...
No, I'm not saying the Maori Party is. They huff and puff all the time. Look, I published this morning on my blog about the Labour Party doing exactly the same thing as what John Key has done in 2000 about oil and gas exploration. And Paul Swain, the minister at the time, actually gave a guarantee, an undertaking to those who are exploring for oil and gas that the Waitangi Tribunal was essentially toothless and the government sets policy and not anybody else. And Helen Clark confirmed that.
Well, she did it on the foreshore and seabed as well.
What's really ironic about this, though, Larry, I mean, the Tariana Ture left the Labour Party over the foreshore and seabed legislation, which
Correct.
the Labour Party saying nobody owns the seabed. So if they were being principled again, I can't see what the difference is. They should walk now. I just think everybody's looking really self-serving.
That's Labour's strategy, though, Josie, is they can't get John Key. They've tried for God knows how many years to get John Key. They had the HV scandal and everything else. Their strategy, their master strategy, is to have a go at the coalition partners. So they've tried to get Peter Dunn.
Well, I think they're having a go at each
desperately
other,
to get John Banks, and now they're trying to split the Maori Party up. If that's all
I don't think the Labour Party's doing it. They're having a go at each other. And what's really interesting here is that you've got John Key, who, when he was in love with the Māori Party in the early sort of heydays, he was happy to replace the foreshore and seabed with legislation that recognised something called customary title. Now, I don't know what that is. Title is title is title. Ownership is title. If he means customary use, he should have said it. But he was out to try and convince them that he agreed with them. They had a right to go to court and prove title. Now he's being hoisted by his own petard on this because suddenly he's turning around saying, oh, yes, no one owns the water. I don't see what the difference is. You know, he's created a crisis.
No, he hasn't. It's rubbish. It's a beat-up. David Shearer started off down this path with his questions on Monday. Oh, I'm not sure who owns the water. Then he was backtracking with that this morning. And then he's on Sean Plunkett on News Talk today.
This is not about David Shearer, Cam.
Yes, it is. He called for the Maori Party to leave National. So it is about David Shearer, and it's the Labour Party's tactic to try and get some traction on asset sales now that it's all...
Well, Josie, question to you. The SOEs, this is all, it's smokescreen, isn't it? I mean, this is about leverage. It's about either getting shares in the SOEs or advancing the claims to water. That's what it's about. It's about money at the end of the day.
Yep.
I think there are several issues, though, Larry. I think you're probably right about some Māori, but not all Māori. It's just like Pākehā. There are different Māori have different positions on it. Some will be happy, I think, to get a bundle of shares and say we're happy with that. But there'll be other Māori out there who, 80% of New Zealanders don't want the assets sold, so they'll be happy to be using this.
It's up to 80% now, is it?
But the other thing is, though, the whole concept of ownership here, it is really complex. It's not all just politics and posturing. If you think, and you mentioned, I think, before, Larry, if you think of farmers, now a farmer on his land can own a river that you can navigate on, but they don't own a stream. Well, good luck to defining a stream in the courts. No. You know, it is very complicated.
This is very easy to fix. We should just give Kiwi Rail to the Maori at a nominal value, like what Michael Cullen paid for it.
This is another one of Cam's great solutions.
It's just brilliant. It's an asset. Michael Cullen paid nearly $1 billion for it. That'd settle all the water disputes, surely.
We'll come back in just a moment. Cameron Slater, Josie Pagani with me. It's now 13 to 6. NewstalkZB, it is now 11 to 6. Back with the Huddle, Josie Pagani and Cameron Slater. Josie, to you first on this one. Student visa scam, nearly 300 Chinese students, false qualifications, false bank account details, agents in Beijing. What do you think? You think there's a lot more out there? What do you see in this?
God, I had a moment of pride where I thought Chinese economy's booming, they've got heaps of jobs, our economy's tanking and we've got no jobs, and they still want to commit fraud and come here. But the interesting thing about what Stephen Joyce and Kate Wilkinson are both saying, the Associate Minister Kate Wilkinson, is that they haven't ruled out the fact that they're investigating immigration staff potentially. Now, there's no evidence at the moment that they knew anything about this, but they are looking into that. And you think there's been so many scandals around immigration recently. I think, was it only last week or the week before?
Especially with Labour Party MPs.
Oh, stop about the Labour Party.
That's all right, Cameron. What's your take on this particular scam?
Thankfully, I don't think Bill Liu's involved in this one, but I'm wondering where the harm is here. I mean, Josie was a little bit joking about it and saying, they still want to come here. The Chinese economy isn't doing as well as everybody thinks. There's just news this morning about that. In fact, the numbers over there show
slowing down,
a real slowdown there, and that's going to hurt the rest of the world seriously. But look, if people want to pay huge amounts of money and come here and study, and they feel that they're getting value for that, I'm really struggling on this. I don't think there's any immigration staff involved, and if they are involved, they'll be China-based immigration.
Well, you've got to nail it, Josie. The other thing is, and there are some people out there, it's more ammunition for the anti-China crowd.
Well, that's right. And as you asked the Minister before, Stephen Joyce before, I mean, is it just China or the other countries involved? And I'm sure of it's happening. They've just focused on China, and so the chances are there are other countries involved. But I do think there's an issue, and I'm serious about this, about immigration, that there do seem to be these scandals that come one after the other. And the last one was this thing about the so-called dating scandal, where some staff are potentially going into client folders and files and seeing if anybody's worth dating. You think, God, is New Zealand immigration going to start putting ads out saying fun-loving country seeks highly skilled, good-looking immigrants who must be kind to animals?
Yeah. I mean,
there's something wrong there in the culture that we just keep getting these crises one after the other. And even if they're not involved, why didn't they know about it? The Herald knew about it.
That's the problem with the public sector, isn't it? It's become so debased now with the standards that are in there. But look, it's not like these people are coming here and going on the dole or availing themselves of all sorts of other largesse from the state. They're paying their way. They don't have any entitlement to anything else.
Right,
really
low end.
Where the harm is.
Thank you, Cameron Slater, and thank you, Josie Pagani. It's now 8 to 6.